you know, I can be clean and sober today, and I can do fun things that I missed out on, because honestly, looking back and seeing you guys, it's like, you have your whole lives ahead of you, and you can, you know, have fun and participate in school things that sometimes seem kind of lame. But, you know, when I look back, I wish I could have lived my childhood, because you are still in your childhood. And you have that chance now to live it to the fullest. And so, I mean, all I can say today is that I have a full life, and I'm happy to be sober, and it's possible for you guys to live that way now. But if it doesn't happen that way, I know that later on in your life, if you end up where I ended up, you can come back and be happy and healthy and sober, and there is a way out. And you know, today, like I said, I have a full life. I work at an elementary school. I go to college. You know, I hang out with friends. I do normal like things that people do. Like I go bowling, and before it'd be like, or I go to the movies or whatever, and then before I'd be like, that would be fun if I could drink first, you know. And now, like, I can do those things without feeling like I'm crawling out of my skin. And so, okay, I'm done. So, if you want to talk to me after, then I can answer questions.
My name is Jennifer. I'm 19 years old. I live in Simi Valley, and I graduated from Simi Valley Adult School. I started using drugs and alcohol when I was 12 years old, and I was in the 7th grade. I was dealing with a loss in my family, and I had, before my stepdad passed away, I always felt really different than everyone else. I always felt really lonely inside, and I felt like I never really fit in with anyone. And when I drank for my first time, I felt like I found my solution, and I was able to get through those times with drugs and alcohol. And it was fun at first, and then it got really, really, really bad. I was kicked out of my middle school, and I never got to graduate that. And my drinking just took a toll on my life. Like, it took over, and I was drinking every night, blacking out, waking up, not knowing what happened before, you know, what I did that night. I would wake up and always ask, I always had to ask people to find out what I did, you know, and that was at 12 and 13 years old. And then when the drinking wasn't enough, I moved on to drugs, and I started taking prescription medication, heroin, methamphetamines, and ecstasy, and just so many drugs. I was like a garbage can, you know, and I would get addicted to them like for long periods of times, but it was like I would move on from one drug to the next, and one, like, you know, I always thought like, okay, well, I'm not doing heroin anymore, but I'm doing this. You know, I didn't think it was a problem at the time, but eventually I landed myself in juvie 3 times, and I went to rehab once for heroin, and then I went to mental hospital 3 different times for depression. I was just so, you know, and while I was going through all these things, I was trying to stay clean, and I couldn't, you know, no matter what my mom or my like probation officer presented me with, they would say, if you use again, you know, you're going to go to jail, or you're going to go to juvie. And I would still continue to use. I didn't know how to stop. And you know, one time I had gone to a party with some people that I was hanging out with, and I had blacked out and got drunk, and I fell in the pool at the party. And then those people didn't want me there anymore, so they dumped me in the middle of the road and left me there at like midnight. And this was in the middle of December. My body was completely wet, and luckily someone found me instead of me getting run over. And when I was found, I blew .28, and the legal limit is .08. So I was really close to dying, because that's how my drinking was every single night. I didn't know how to stop, you know. And finally, somehow, I was lucky enough to be put on probation, and it was a really intense program that I was put on, and I had to get clean, and so I stopped doing the drugs for a while, and I would just continue to drink and try and live. You know, I wanted to, like, I had gone to a normal high school, and I wanted to, like, be able to do it so bad. I was like, I would see everyone, like, having fun, going to dances, and I'm like, I wish I knew how to go to school every day and like do my homework at nighttime, and I wanted to be able to do that so bad. And, you know, I could have if I would have actually put the work in to do those things. But today, you know, I had to graduate from an adult school, and I never got an experience like this. I never got to be here with a bunch of people. Like, I never got to go to school with my friends and go to dances and proms or anything like that. So today I have to, that's one of my consequences of my using, you know. I have ruined friendships and relationships with family members, and some of them are beyond repairable, and I will never get those relationships back. And that's a consequence of my using, because you know, when I'm using, I hurt people. I'm not a good person. I don't do good things. You know, deep down I'm a good person, but I'm not doing good things. So I don't know, like it's really hard to sometimes see the people that are using because I want to help them, but like everyone that I started using with, we had tons of fun at first, and we thought we really enjoyed it, and some of them stopped. They didn't continue to use anymore. People like me and my friends, we continue to use, and now I've had to go to their funerals. And it seems so weird, like if someone would have told me when I first started using with them that I would have to go to their funeral, I would say, you're crazy, you're wrong, that's not going to happen to me or my friends. But the truth and the fact of the matter is that it can happen to anyone, you know, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you came from, but it could happen to you. And you know, you like Leah had said, if you take that risk, that's a chance that you're taking. But just know that if you do go down that path, then you can come back, and people are there to help you. You just have to voice it that you need help, because there's going to always be people that want to help you and are there for you. You just have to reach out to them. And you know, I hate to say no to drugs. I mean, I really want you guys to, but it's so cliche, and most people will like not really listen to that. But if you're like stuck in a situation and you don't want to be there, do not let someone peer pressure you. You know, you can always be let out of a situation, and being peer pressured is not an excuse to use drugs. There are no excuses for it. It's just, you really can just say no, as hard as it may seem. But if you guys would like to talk after this, we're all going to be up here, so if you have questions, you can ask me them. Thank you.
What's up, guys? My name is Michael Mendez. I'm 19. I just graduated from Rio Mesa High School last year, and yeah, I'm currently going to Ventura College. So yeah, for me, I started using drugs and alcohol when I was 13, when I was going to Monte Vista Middle School, and for me, I always felt like I had to fit in. I never felt comfortable in my own skin, and so I always felt like I had to change what I'm doing to feel a part of. I try to like be the skater. I grew my hair out long. I was chubby, and I wore skinny jeans. It didn't look too good, but so in middle school, started off. I started hanging out with this kid, and so every morning we'd go to the park and smoke cigarettes. And I thought that I was cool, because smoking cigarettes, and I'd like go back, after smoking cigarettes, go to kids at school and be like, hey, do I smoke cigarettes? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, cool, like that makes me look good, you know what I mean? And so when I got into high school, I got involved with gang-related activity, and that was like the first thing that I found that really made me feel like I felt a part of, and so I started doing all this stuff, that I knew was wrong, but I felt good because I was doing it, and and I got really heavy into pills and stuff, and it became a daily habit, and and then I've been on and off probation, since I was 13. And, I got arrested in high school for, having 11 tabs of ecstasy on me. And, things just started going bad really quickly, and I knew that I needed to change something, but, I couldn't do it for some reason. Like, I couldn't get it. And, and I found this support group, and and I tried to get sober, and and at the time I wasn't all that willing, to take the necessary steps that I needed to take, and and I started hanging out with my old crowd again, and started doing all the things that I was doing again, and at the time I was on probation, and so I smoked spice because then spice didn't have test for it, and so it wouldn't come up on a drug test. And you know, I didn't know you can overdose on spice, and I overdosed on spice, and it was a pretty like gnarly near-death experience. And you know, my mom came home, and I was by myself. My mom came home and found me. You know, I was laying there, I wasn't breathing. You know, and the next thing I knew, I came to in the hospital bed, and you know, that really opened up my eyes. You know, that I needed to do something different. You know, I needed to change my lifestyle, because you know the lifestyle was getting me killed. And you know, and so after that, I started taking you know the necessary steps that I needed to take. You know, and you know, it was pretty gnarly when I was detoxing off of spice from overdosing on it. Like, I don't know, it was weird. Like, I was like every day for like 2 weeks when I was detoxing off it, I would just faint for like no reason. I'll just be like standing somewhere, you know, and I'll just like collapse, you know, and it was pretty weird. And yeah, so I started taking those necessary steps that I needed to take, you know, and I became willing, you know, and like I said, I found the support group, you know, and I made some really good friends, you know, that are sober, you know, and had a desire to stay sober, you know, and you know, we've helped each other out, you know, staying sober, you know, when I need someone, you know, people are there for me, you know, and you know, after getting sober, you know, I've had to, you know, relearn, you know, how to live sober, and you know, and I've gotten tools, you know, that I've learned to cope with things, you know, and not, you know, when I'm feeling, you know, when I'm not feeling it, you know, and I have negative feelings coming up, you know I know I don't have to drink and use, you know, to numb them out, you know, I'm able to deal with them now, you know, and you know, coming out and like, you know, speaking like this, you know, these are things that help me stay sober, you know, and I'm grateful that I get to come out, you know, and share the message. Because, you know, when I first tried to get sober, you know, people were there for me, you know, helping me out, you know, so, you know, it's the thing that I like to do now, you know, is come out and, you know, help other people, you know, because that's what it's done for me. So, that's all I got.